Hi friends, welcome back to The Rogue Educator, where we talk about all things education, wellness, and story. And today I want to share with you 10 ways that you can support your local public schools even if you don't have your kids enrolled. All right, I got my notes right here. First up, number 10, talk to your neighbors who do have kids enrolled in the school system about big issues. Is it a high poverty district? Do the high schools and middle schools have winning teams like football or lacrosse or volleyball? Ask your neighbors about the school-specific political signs that are in their yards, because those are issues that are going to show up on your ballot too. And if you're familiar with some of the issues and how they affect the people you know personally, you'll be able to vote more consciously, I guess. All right, number 9, attend the theater productions and the sporting events. Often, the arts programs and the sports programs are the first to hit the chopping block when school districts need to cut funding. So go support these things that really build into students and help them to have a well-rounded educational experience. And you might be surprised at the level of talent that high school theater productions often show off. And regarding sports, just pick a team, go to the events, and you might be surprised at how quickly you come to call them your team. Number 8, do the fundraisers for the kids. It's okay that you can't support every fundraiser for every kid all the time. It's okay to not buy the candy when you're not eating candy at home. It's okay to not buy wrapping paper every time some child in the neighborhood knocks on your door. However, if you have maybe a budding relationship with a family down the street and they have kids, maybe you can choose to support their school and whatever fundraiser they're participating in. Or pick a fundraiser that is especially close to your heart or supports something that you maybe benefited from when you were in school and support that fundraiser. For example, if you really were into arts programs as a student yourself, perhaps you can support the local jogathon, 10 cents per lap or something like that. But be thoughtful and be intentional and, pick a fundraiser or a child here and there that you can support. Number 7, do the fundraisers for the teachers. And again, no need to overthink it or go overboard, but unfortunately, we do live in an era where public education and education in general is really undervalued and therefore undersupported financially. So a lot of teachers rely on sites like donorschoose.org to crowdfund the resources that they need to carry out some of the fun projects and field trips and technology things that they need for their classroom. So if this is something that interests you at all, please go browse donorschoose.org and maybe pick out a project for a teacher that works in your district or lives nearby to you perhaps, and go support that project. And then if you have the time, maybe go over to that school and introduce yourself to the teacher. Number 6, volunteer in the trenches. If you have the time, sign up to volunteer to supervise lunch recess or the lunchroom. You could volunteer to laminate or cut things for elementary teachers or make photocopies for middle and high school teachers. There are all sorts of ways that you can volunteer in the school itself, and you'll probably need to get a background check and fill out some extra paperwork, but it's totally worth it. And you can also volunteer to facilitate a reading group or things like that. And these things are especially helpful and awesome for teachers and students if you can plan to be there at the same time every week or the same time once a month. Number 5, another way you can support your public schools, even if you don't have kids enrolled, is to just use your personal gifts and talents. Maybe you are a trained grant writer. You could offer those services at a lower rate or volunteer level for your local school or your local district. You could organize a service team from your church or a community group that you're involved in to adopt a classroom or a school. You could read to children in after-school programs. All of these are great ways to use your own personal gifts and talents to support our public schools. All right, number 4 is perhaps a little bit more of a commitment in some ways, but it's to substitute teach. And again, this is an area where, especially in elementary schools, teachers struggle to cover one another if they don't have subs, but a teacher can't come in. So right now I have my daughter enrolled in private school because I'm not sure she's ready to handle some of the heavy issues and challenges that sometimes come along in a public school education. And we are in the privileged position to be able to send her to private school. However, as an adult, I very much am capable and able to support our public schools by substitute teaching. This is something that I really value teachers, and I know how important it is to be able to leave your classroom and leave it in good hands. So while my daughter is at private school, I support our public schools right now by offering quality substitute teaching. So many districts in many states, are just really struggling to find this kind of support, and they just need high quality adults in the classroom to take care of kids and to guide their learning. And it's challenging and it's tricky sometimes, but many districts are willing to offer substitute emergency teaching licenses to get those quality adults in the classroom. And that could be you. Number 3, super easy. Everybody can do this. Drive safely through your school zones and wave to your crossing guards and any of the kids that happen to be walking by at the time. I mean, no need to be creepy about it, but you can smile and acknowledge that you know they exist and that you want them to be safe. And so you're going to drive slow, follow the lower speed limit, and protect our public school students. I mean, this goes for private school too, but protect our students as they get to school. And that is just another way we can tell them that we value them and their education. All right, the number 2 thing that you can do to support your public schools is to participate in community cleanup days. A school I lived nearby recently held these about once a year toward the end of the summer, where they invited everyone in the neighborhood to help kind of tidy up the flower beds and generally just prep the exterior of the school and clean the playground and things like that to get ready for the new batch of students that would be starting school. And it was a really great way to spend some time outdoors and spend some time with neighbors and support our local school. And last but not least, definitely not least, in some cases, the most you can do to support our public schools is to vote. And I mean, take the ballot seriously, do your research, ask questions, and make an informed vote. Don't leave those ballot boxes blank when it comes to supporting public schools. I realize that, not everyone has a positive view of public schools, and maybe you had a bad experience when you were growing up or whatever. Maybe you just don't have kids and you just don't think about it. All of these are valid reasons, to be sort of put off by the idea of supporting public schools. But for many of our students and many of the children in our neighborhoods, school is maybe not even a second home. Maybe it's the place where they have the most consistency, and it's the place where they are able to strive for something beyond their current circumstances. And so if for no other reason, think of the children and think of the teachers who put a lot of time and effort and love and care into their classrooms and their students. And think about what maybe you can do, pick 1 or 2 of these things and start supporting public schools, for the future. I'll see you in the next video.